Hi, this is just a quick tutorial just to look at OneFile, just to understand about the main points of OneFile. I think before we begin, it's really important that you understand and know that you can play around with OneFile. There's nothing that's going to go wrong, and it's really important to be able to learn how to use OneFile. And the best way is to just explore it yourself. So I'm going to go through the main points on OneFile that you will need to know about. If throughout any of this session, this recording, if there is anything that you have a query about, have a question about, please jot that down and do bring it to the live session, as we will be able to then look at that question, log on to OneFile, see sort of how to overcome that issue or answer that query. And we'll be able to do that within the live session. Okay, so when we come onto OneFile, you'll have your login details. And you will have already accessed your OneFile. So what we'll do is we'll just log into this tester account, and then you'll be able to see how to upload evidence, where to accept plans, how to create off the job hour, timesheet logs. And we'll just log in and have a look at those main points within your OneFile account. So initially, when you come in to OneFile, you will be greeted with a service announcements page. This service announcements page has a host of information for you, which will support your apprenticeship. It has information regarding interesting articles, which are maybe useful to you in whatever point of your learning journey you're at. It has useful guides, which sort of link in terms of your soft skills, which again, we'll be exploring more thoroughly within the actual live session. It looks at a host of sort of strategies that you can support children's learning and development, as well as having sort of information about webinars that may be coming up as well. It will also put on any information in terms of if there's any changes in your employer, what you need to do, any sort of celebrations that month, which you can be aware of. And also as well, from time to time, there may be maintenance messages from OneFile, and that's just where they're possibly doing some maintenance on the site. If they are doing any maintenance of such, they will provide a message on here and just ask you to log out between certain times and just ensure that all your work is saved. As on all of our sort of OneFile pages, you'll notice up here that there is a safeguarding number. This is where you can call if you've got any safeguarding concerns. Again, within the live session, we'll go into our safeguarding policy in more detail, but just to sort of make note that the number is up there for you to access if you need it. So first of all, we're going to come over to this section over here, and this will have your full name. Now, this is where you can set OneFile to meet your actual needs, but also as well to make sure that all the important information about you is within your portfolio. So if we go onto here, you will see that there are 3 different sort of subheadings. So first of all, if we go onto profile, you will be able to see initially that you can upload a photograph if you want to. That's completely up to you. It's not mandatory. However you want to, you can do. You'll also have your home address. Just check on that to make sure that it's correct. And if not, then just update it. And then telephone numbers. What we do advise in this section here is that you do put your mobile telephone number in here and also allow text reminders. What that will allow is that if you've got any sessions coming up in terms of teaching and learning sessions or appointments with your one-to-one tutor, this will then send you a text reminder 24 hours before the actual session. And it'll just give you a reminder that something's happening or jog your memory just to go onto OneFile and read through everything to make sure that you are prepared. So we do really, really encourage you to do this as well. You can also put your address of your work in there as well, and you can upload a CV if you like. Also within the section, so if we come back to this profile section here, you can also change the appearance. So if you've got this grayscale on the back, you can also change it to different sort of colours, as you can see. So whatever sort of, meets your needs. Additionally, we can also change the font type down here. So you can see that you can change it into different font styles, as well as the font size as well. So do have a look at all of those settings and do sort of adapt it to what you need. That will then ensure that it's sort of, best meeting your needs. You can also set a status as well if you're online and, if you're available or whatever. Right, okay. So if we come over here, you'll see that there's a menu of all various things that you can do. So first of all, if we come over to the portfolio section, this is where it'll have all the information about all aspects of your qualification. So it'll say what level that you're doing, it'll say about your maths and English, and also about your endpoint assessment as well. Here you'll see the current progress, so that is whereabouts you currently are within your qualification. And this here will also say about your target progress. So this is whereabouts you should be. We just want to ensure that you are there or thereabouts within the sort of, your current progress in line with that target progress, just to ensure that you are on track, making sure that you are progressing well and that you're not getting behind. There is also this section up here, this where it says simple view. If you want to just have a look at your sort of overall qualification in more detail, if you uncheck that, you'll then be able to see that all your sort of end dates of when you're due to complete your qualification. And your tutor will discuss with you about your end dates and keep reminding you about your end dates. However, if you've just forgotten or you want to just remind yourself, you can do it that way as well. So if we come down here, you will see that you will have teaching, learning, assessment plans. That's what this stands for, teaching, learning and assessment plans. So when you have a plan set onto your portfolio, this will either be from one of the teaching team or from your one-to-one tutor, they will set you a plan. Please bear in mind that this is a sample portfolio, so you would never have this many tasks on your portfolio. It is just used by various people. So what you would do is initially you would come onto the teaching, learning and assessment plans section. Now, as you can see, I have set a sample plan here, and this is just for you to see how to use it, how to upload your work and what you need to do with it. So within that teaching, learning, assessment plans, you'd click on the plan that has been set. It gives you a brief outline of what you need to do here, so you can sort of review that. But here you'll have the overall information about the plan. So it'll give you the title, it'll give you the date that it was set. It'll also give you the date when it is due to be completed as well. And as you can see on this bit, we will always tick about sending a text reminder the day before, and that will only be sent if you have verified that mobile number that we looked at earlier. So it has all just the sort of, dates and all that information on there. Now, if we go down, we've got the tasks section here. So as I said, this is just a sample plan that I've just created just to sort of give you an overview of what it looks like. So you can see here that we've got a task overview. It just says and asks you to complete the health and safety task that we've discussed and that we've agreed that this needs to be completed by the 20th of October. So what you'll need to do is you'll be provided on most tasks with an attachment. It's really important that you open these attachments and where needed, save them to your computer. Now at this point, it's a good idea just to create a folder on your computer for your coursework. This might be that you then sort of section it and organize it into sort of separate folders in terms of resources, into health and safety tasks, into whatever it is that you can organise in a way that's going to suit you. So once you've read that, once you've downloaded what you need to, you will then need to come down to the bottom here. This is where you are signing to say that you accept it. This is you signing that you agree to what's been asked, you agree to the date, and this is almost like your digital signature. So once you're happy with everything, you've downloaded what you need to, you can then tick it and accept it. Now, once you have accepted that plan, you will notice that it will come into this pending section, because it's pending, needing you to do something about it. As I said, you wouldn't ever have 45. It will just be in terms of, that one that's been set. So as you can see here, we've got the date, and this refers to the plan that I've just set for you and that you've just accepted. So once you've done the work and once you're happy with everything and you're okay for everything, what we'd do then is we come onto that plan. So here we'll be able to see the plan that we are talking about, and we can go to the learning or assessment activity. So once you've done your work, you're happy with everything, it will give you that task overview, so you know that it's relating to that work that's been completed. You'll then be able to see the criteria that it is going to be achieved through this actual task that you've done. And then here you will be able to add your evidence. So this is the same concept as attaching something to an email. So we'd add attachment. You would then select the file, so select the document that you want to do. So I'll just upload that one. Now we can see here that it's been attached. Now once you can see it's attached, we then go back to this bit up here. There's two little sort of ribbons at the top. We've got attachments, which is the page that we're on already, and then the learning activity and assessment. So it brings us back to that original page. We know this is the task, we can see the criteria, and we can also now see the attachment that we've completed. If for any reason that you've uploaded the incorrect document, you can just delete it there and go through the same process again. Now, once you're happy with everything and everything's okay, and you're happy for it to be submitted to your tutor, you'll just need to explain or identify how long you've spent on that actual assignment. So let's say 30 minutes. If it is that you have completed them in paid or working time, and we'll have a look at it in a little bit more detail within the live session, but you can click off the job. If it is that you have completed it in your own time, don't click off the job. Okay. So now we're going to come down to the bottom here. And this again is your digital signature. It's confirming that this is all your own work, that you're happy with everything, that it's not been plagiarised in any way, that you've confirmed that your off the job hours was taken in paid or working time, and that you're happy for it to go to your tutor. Now, once you've ticked that, as I said, that is your digital signature, and you can then save and quit. Now, what will happen now is that will be sent to your one-to-one tutor or your teaching and learning, part of the teaching and learning team if you're doing a task with them. Once you click save and quit, it goes to your tutor, as I say, and they will then be able to provide feedback on that specific task that you've completed. If it is that you are required to add additional information, they will resubmit that task back to you with the specific detailed feedback. If everything's okay and it meets all the criteria that we need it to, they will just reference in feedback to you about what's done well and how we're going to use that piece of evidence, and they will then sign it off, and that will then go towards your progress. So at this point, we click save and quit. Now, if we go back to your portfolio, what I'd just like to sort of highlight is how we complete off the job hours and where we do actually record them as well. So if we go down a little bit, you'll notice here that we've got timesheets. Now, we will look at off-the-job hours in a bit more detail within the actual live session. However, this term might be quite familiar to you from that startup process. So if you've done any new learning within the setting, within your paid working hours, you can record that new learning here. So first of all, we'll click on timesheets. Everybody is given a specific amount of off-the-job hours that they have to achieve by the end of their qualification. And this will be outlined in that timesheet section. So here, for example, this states that this particular learner has to achieve 300 hours by the time they finish their qualification. So that's new learning in their working or paid time. It also calculates how many that you have achieved so far as well. So you can keep an eye on that to make sure that you're on track. Your tutor will break it down into a monthly amount to ensure that it's a bit more manageable. We do advise that you do complete and update your timesheets on a sort of weekly or bi-weekly basis. This is just to ensure that you keep on top of it and that you're not getting a bit sort of having to backdate lots and lots and lots. So if you've done some new learning within the setting, we record this by the following. We go up here to create timesheet entry and we write what we've achieved. So this could be shadowed a member of staff completing an observation. Okay, then we can just give an overview, learning about ABC observations and also how to support the child further. So this is just an overview of what you've done and what you've learned about. We don't need lots and lots and lots of information. However, you do need to be a bit more specific. So if, for example, you get paid for your team meetings or your staff meetings, rather than just saying, I attended a staff meeting, be specific. What did you learn? Think about how that's going to have an influence on your practice. So once you've completed that, just an overview of what you've learned, we'll come over here to the category. On this section, you'd select which category it actually relates to. So this one we know is work shadowing. You can see that it's ticked off the job. We'd create our start date, so when we actually achieved it. We'll put the time in and how long we did that for. So I'm just going to put 2 hours on there. And we're thinking about the whole process from looking at something to learning about it, to implementing it, to reflecting on it. We're looking at that whole process. And then we'll click save. Now, what you will notice is that, well, as you can see, there's lots of timesheets entries on here. However, that will then be recorded on here. As you can see it's been recorded and the amount of time has also been recorded as well. Now, as and when you keep completing those timesheet entries, the amount of time that you've actually achieved so far will go up. As you can see, that's now gone up to 225. As I say, we just need to ensure that you are keeping on top of these. So do try to do this at least on a weekly basis and maybe just have a notepad and pen in your room at work just to jot down any new learning that you have achieved. Now, if you come back to this sort of portfolio section, you'll also have reviews here. Again, we'll talk about those in more detail within the actual live session. And this will just outline what date your next review is. Now, if we go in that portfolio right down to the bottom, you'll see that you'll have unit summaries. And this is just outlining all the sections of your qualification. So this, for example, is a level 3 qualification. It has all the units of the main aim, as we call it. So that's the sort of the childcare aspect. And then we'll have your maths and your English, and then sections on your endpoint assessment. And you can click into these and these can sort of support you if you're planning for an observation, for example. So if, for example, you have an observation planned with your tutor and they're asking you to support a child with their literacy and their numeracy, you'll be able to click into these sections and you'll be able to see what it is that they're going to be looking for. And this will then just sort of help you plan for it and also understand the sort of criteria of your actual qualification as well. Up here, we also have a messaging facility. So you can message your tutor through here. Again, this is very similar to an email system. So you just click who it was to, and you'll have a list of names that come up. You can write a subject, as well as then being able to sort of type in a message. And if you want to attach anything on there as well, you can do. In this section as well, we also have a resources section. And there's lots of resources on here that you can have a look into in terms of maths and ICT and endpoint assessment information, also resources for English, functional skills video tutorials. There'll also be additional things on there for you to have a look at as well. So do explore it as much as you need to. We also have a help centre there as well. So if there's any questions or you can't figure something out in terms of compatibility with different programmes, do have a look at that help centre as well. So as I say, this is the main sort of parts of your portfolio. Please do ensure that you are having a good look around it. If there are any questions at all that you have thought of, or that you want to ask something, or you are sort of taking this time between now and the live session to have a look around your portfolio, and if you come across anything that you want to ask a question about, please do make a note of that. Bring it with you to the live session. We can explore it further. Thank you very much for listening, and we shall see you on the live session.